back now with the latest on the au pair affair trial in Fairfax County, Virginia.
And today, some high-profile witnesses took the stand. Testimony has wrapped up for the day. The au pair herself was on the stand. She explained her part in an alleged plot to help her boss kill his wife.
We have team coverage tonight, including NBC News legal analyst Kristen Gibbons Feden. She'll talk to us about what stood out to her during today's testimony.
But we want to begin with our Northern Virginia Bureau reporter, Drew Wilder, who has been inside the courtroom all day. Drew, walk us through, if you will, this riveting testimony today.
Yeah, Jim, I mean, it was as salacious comes. True crime aficionados have probably been gearing up for the testimony that we started to hear this afternoon now for months. The family's au pair, Juliana Perez Migueles, started to lay out what she calls a very elaborate double murder scheme in which she claims her boss, the family's father and husband, used a BDSM kinky fetish sex website to lure a man over to the family's home under the ruse that he was going to perform a fantasy with the family's wife. And then that's when the au pair says she and the husband came into the bedroom at just the right time, and she alleges that the husband killed the man they invited over and his own wife. I want you to look at the screen right now because this was an incredibly powerful moment in the courtroom when the au pair entered as she was about to begin her testimony at just a few minutes after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Watch as she walks right in front of Brendan Banfield. Both of these two admit that they were having a sexual affair inside the family's home for months leading up to the two killings. She never makes eyes at him. But look at his eyes stare her down as she's taking the witness stand to say he was the mastermind of this murder plot. In addition to her powerful testimony, we also saw some physical evidence. We'll show you now the gun that detectives say they recovered from the bedroom. It's that firearm right there that detectives and Juliana say Brendan Banfield used to shoot and kill the man brought over to the home, Joseph Ryan. They also introduced this knife. Juliana said that this knife was brought over by Joseph Ryan as part of the BDSM sex fantasy plot. But she says that all the while Brendan was plotting to use that knife to kill Christine. And then she told the courtroom today that's exactly what he did.
A few times I looked and I was able to see him stabbing her, and he would stab, and other times he would hold the knife in a position how that was.
Now I want to bring in NBC News legal analyst Kristen Gibbons Feden. Kristen, I got to give you a little bit of credit here because, look, we were powwowing last week prepping for this trial, and you were asked, where do you think we start here? When do we hear testimony from the au pair? You've got a lot of experience prosecuting similar high-profile cases like this. You're a former prosecutor yourself, and you said, look, I think you got to start with the au pair's testimony because she's the narrative here. And you were right. Here we are on the very first day of evidence, and we hear from the au pair. Why hear her critical testimony so early on and not save her for later? What's the strategy prosecutors are doing here?
This is because she's the centerpiece of the case, Drew. Before she took the stand, the prosecution built that foundation with the 911 calls, the body cam footage, the medical examiner. That was the neutral evidence that locked in the scene and the brutality. Then they went to the premeditated plot and motive, and that's where she is. She connects that motive and the planning to the physical evidence, the affair, the fact that Brendan felt that divorce was not an option, that FetLife setup, that gun range trip. That's where the story is. So calling her early is strategic. And now, after she's done, they're going to have to prove it with the forensics, the digital evidence and timeline to allow that puzzle to now have the corroboration that it needs to then prove their case with the motive, the premeditation, and the deliberate killing of Miss Banfield.
All right, Drew, thank you. We know you're going to follow this case day in and day out. Kristen, I want to ask you about tomorrow. The au pair is expected to get back up on the stand again. What else do you expect the prosecution to ask her? And then we're going to hear from the defense on cross-examination. What are they going to ask her?
Well, today the testimony that she gave painted Brendan as a mastermind. So tomorrow, the prosecution is likely going to finish the story after the killings, right? So that's where the jurors can decide if the witness is credible or if she's just saving herself. So I expect the prosecution to ask questions such as, well, why did you move into the bedroom? What was said to the child, Valerie, the 4-year-old at the time? How quickly did life reset in that house? And what did Brendan tell you to tell the police? Because that's her biggest problem, is that she lied for so long, and she really has to kind of explain and humanize herself as to why she isn't lying today. She's got to talk about the plea deal, because the reality is that au pair is the prosecution's star witness, but she's the defense's best weapon. So when the defense finally gets a chance at her, I expect that cross-examination to hit every single contradiction. The forensic evidence that suggests that Christine used the account, that sweetheart deal that saves the au pair from life in prison, and the cold hard fact that she, not Brendan, fired the fatal shot to Mr. Ryan.
The details are indeed just intriguing to sit and listen to. We will be looking forward to more of your legal coverage tomorrow. NBC News legal analyst Kristen Gibbons Feden, thanks so much for your insight. We'll see you tomorrow.
And of course, we'll be streaming the entire trial on NBCWashington.com and on our YouTube channel. You can catch the weekly recap show called The Case. That's Thursday nights at 7:30 until the trial is complete.